All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we got this brand new 6.6. I just got through putting a muscle car oil pan on it. We've been gathering up parts. It's getting some LT4 exhaust manifolds, which I've shown you all these before in the video. Almost dumped the bolts on the ground. They're almost kind of like headers, so we're gonna put those on. It's getting a CVF, is it polished?
Polished, yeah.
Polished front end kit. Yeah. We haven't opened it up yet, so we'll have to see what we're unboxing and see what we're missing. It's getting the 8-speed transmission. Already got torque converter in.
You said this was a polished kit, right?
Yep. So let's start getting everything kind of laid out. Okay. So what I've been over here looking at, this is something new. You know, these companies all the time are finding different ways to make things cheaper. So used to, you can get a remote reservoir power steering pump and then one with the reservoir attached. Now they're actually making you, the consumer, attach the reservoir. So it's really different. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just, it adds another step to the process of you know, putting one of these kits together. So they give you an O-ring that you slide on here, and then this is going to slide in to this orifice here on the pump itself. So that mates up like this, which is not that big of a problem. And then you have these clips that are going to slide in. Let me get you where you can see what I'm doing. They're going to slide in like this. So that clip's going to slide in. You just got to press it on further, but it's going to slide in like that. And they give you two. You got one for right here at the top and one for in the bottom. But you know, it's just one of them deals where they used to come attached. Now they're making me do more stuff. So it's just kind of crappy the way I look at it. Still a good kit. I mean, we still like these kits, but just kind of crappy. And then, what are you doing?
Could put some clear coat on a part back there, so mixing my paint up.
Well, that is something.
Yeah, I had to come up with something, man. You want to make sure your paint's, you know, mixed up well.
Yeah. Well, you.
So I come up with this little tool.
Yeah.
I had an extra drill.
Yeah.
And
all right, so I had to just go get a little mallet and just those clips I was showing you. They just slide on from the back side. You just tap them, or sorry, just slide on from the back side here, and you just tap them on. And it's just kind of a friction hold. Do you remember how they were attached previously? I don't really.
same thing. They just did that for you.
So we got everything unboxed, and the first thing I usually do is it's kind of another step. And y'all seen, if you've been watching the videos, you know the deal. But there's another step that you have to do as a consumer. Is they send the alternator with this pulley and this fan. So you replace it with this pulley and a more of a smooth fan. Why can't they do this when they ship it out to save you the other step? I have no idea. But so we're gonna do that real quick. It's kind of an easy process the way I do it. So you get you a rag and you get you a 15/16 socket. Put the rag on this alternator fan so it doesn't just cut you up. You just give it a pop, just a little pop. That's it. So you reuse this nut, you reuse the lock washer, and then these go. Let's carry you over here.
They go over here.
So we've done a few kits, so we're running out of room. I'm not sure what to do with these things. So to put the new one on, you've got this newer, it's a nicer looking little fan. So that goes on first. Okay. Then you got your pulley with my hand. And pretty much the same deal. Just grab this pulley, like that, tight as you can. That's it. Water pump sandwich time. So I'm gonna build a water pump sandwich here. So these are the paper gaskets that they include with the kit. We don't use these. We toss these out, and we use our own. These are metal gaskets with the rubber O-ring. So your spacers are going to go where the water pump bolts go. And then these are going to be your new water pump bolts. Just like that. And you'll just try to kind of stab this. It's kind of the way I do it. Some people have a table or something to work on. I just work off the ground. Just like that. Then I pick the whole water pump up. Like that. Then go ahead and just set it down. Then you get these gaskets. You can get these Jeg, Summit, Amazon, stuff like that. A lot of people ask where we get them from. That's where they come from. If you use the paper gaskets that comes with the kit, you end up having to put silicone, and that's going to make a big old mess around here, and we just don't do that. The other two gaskets they include are perfectly fine. These are just your regular GM water pump gaskets, which, once again, no silicone, nothing. They're metal gaskets. So I went ahead and I installed these. We do silicone these. I dab a little silicone on there and then tighten them down. One of these ends up getting a temperature sensor anyway. The other one just stays plugged off. These gaskets will also help hold your bolts in place once you start trying to install this on the motor. In case you're doing it by yourself, it can be done by yourself. I've done quite a few by myself. It is nice though to be able to hold it up there and have somebody work the wrench, the Allen wrench or whatever you're using to tighten it up. We usually use a T-handle. So go ahead and, before you hold this up there and start getting it ready, go ahead and make sure you get the right size in your hand. Just a little tip. So that is what I refer to as the water pump sandwich. So Dad got the fuel rails on. This one is missing a fuel pump. It was damaged when it came in, so it can't be fixed. So we're still having some kind of parts issues as far as ordering stuff and getting here, on time. So it's still kind of happening. So I'm about to put the water pump sandwich on with the CVF kit. And what you're looking at as far as size goes, it is a 6mm, and I use the little T-handle Harbor Freight deal. So we're gonna go ahead and get that put on. So I will be doing this one by myself like I was just talking about. So it's not that big of a deal. So there you go, that's the hardest part. You just get it hanging. That's the hardest part. Once it's hanging, the rest of it's pretty easy. Just tighten it up. So now that it's tightened up, you can move on with some more stuff. One of the next things I do, you have a idler pulley that goes here, and I normally put that on next before you put the power steering pump on, just so the power steering pump's not in your way. So your idler gets one flat washer, hex bolt, and one lock nut. So we'll go ahead and put the power steering pump on. It gets these two bolts, they're that long, and they're also 6mm. All right, let's go ahead and get the alternator put on. So it gets those two. Long one goes at the bottom. Small one goes up at the top. One's going to be a 5.5, I think. Yeah, 5.5 millimeter. And the bottom, I believe, is going to be a 6 millimeter. Bottom one's also going to get a locking nut on the back side. Okay, I lied. The bottom alternator is not a 6 millimeter. It is a 8. The AC compressor has to go on next, because then after that you have your belt tensioner, and the belt tensioner actually covers the bolt hole for the AC compressor. It gets just these 2 small bolts. That's it. So I just pulled the little cover plate off the AC compressor, and just kind of real important. It's just on there with these 2 bolts. You throw the bolts away, you throw this metal plate away. But if you get in too much of a hurry, you throw these away, you're screwed. So just make sure either these stay on the compressor, or you get them back off if they stuck to this rubber gasket. You don't use the rubber gasket again. This is all trash here. So just make sure you get those back in. And the reason why I went ahead and took that off is you swap this piece on. This is for your AC lines. So, and it comes with 2 more new bolts. And man, guys, like I said before, once you get that water pump sandwich thing done, and that's my trademark term. You can use it if you like. Rest of this kit is it's simple, it's easy. And as you can see, I had to do the water pump sandwich and hang it totally by myself because my helper disappeared. So just the way it goes sometimes. Good help is hard to find. So now you go ahead and get your I call it a tensioner. The instructions refer to it as idler. I refer to this as idler. Either way, and it looks like they've changed the instructions. Y'all saw me put a lock nut on the back of this. So used to, you got a lock nut on the bottom alternator bolt. You got a lock nut on this bolt on the back side, and then you get a lock nut on the back of this tensioner. Now they've changed it. They'll include 2 lock nuts. But since I've already installed a lock nut here, I'm not going to remove it. I got an extra lock nut. So I'm going to go ahead and put the tensioner on now. All right, now it's time for the hub adapter. So this is what it looks like. It goes on like this, and you got a big crank bolt.
I have an extra hand. And I'm ready to go in with this sucker. And it's tight. Okay. There we go.
And these are LT4 manifolds. So I guess they go on the Camaro, possibly.
I would say the Camaro, probably the Corvette.
I don't know.
They sure.
They hug the block very well, and they're header.
Yep.
They're header-like in design.
Yes.
So I'm going to put the power steering pump pulley on, and here's where it gets a little weird. We've been calling out metric sizes, 5 mil, 5.5, 5, 6 millimeter. Now we're going into a standard. This is a 3/16. So, just however they source their bolts or where they get their bolts from, makes it a little bit. You have to have the whole toolbox of, make sure you have Allen heads in metric and standard before you start, and you'll be fine. We're picking up another 6.6 after we drop this one off, and it's going to get a thorough inspection just like they all do. It's getting a cam as well, so that'll be fun. All right, so we're going to put the water pump pulley on, and we're switching sizes again. Now we're at a 6 millimeter again. I'm putting the AC compressor, little decorative cover on, and other than the crank pulley, everything else is just decorative covers, and we're finished up. All right, so the CVF kit is finished, it's done. We always leave this cover off so we can spin the flywheel and get the torque converter bolted up, and then we'll put this on after the transmission's on. So all that's really left is we're going to put a, even though this is a 6.6, the 6.6 intakes aren't as good as the 6.2. I'm not exactly sure why, but the internet said. So we're going to put a 6.2 intake on it and a starter, the transmission, and it's ready to go. All right, so it's our favorite segment of the day. It's beer time. I'm gonna sit down and have, this is a Lone Pint Laser Kraken oak barrel aged barley wine ale. So, and it's 9.4%.
Oh,
So
it's barrel aged.
barrel aged.
That sounds good.
Yep, there's something in here I don't want you to read this last little part, but we'll
Okay.
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. All right, see what you think before I tell you what it. Hope it's good. It was
Oh, it's got a little IPA to it. Let's see.
$12. It's not bad. It's an IPA.
It's an IPA.
It's a barrel
I can
aged.
smell it. Smell the hop.
It's a barrel aged IPA.
I'll be darned.
So on the 6.6 that we're picking up, when we drop this 6.6 off,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of blow your mind a little bit. So we're gonna put a cam in it,
Yeah.
and the cam we're putting in is the LT5 cam or LT4 cam, whatever.
It's a
They're
lot bigger.
about the LT4, LT5, whatever, no big deal. But the cam that's in the 6.6 is smaller, so we're putting a cam in. Here's where it's gonna get tricky. I'm not gonna pull the heads on the motor.
How you plan on doing it?
So the 6.6 is already non-DOD.
Okay, so you don't really have to even have to pull it. Well, you got to pull the valley.
Lifters don't have to come off. I gotta pull the valley to get the fuel pump lifter out.
That's the only one.
I gotta pull the timing cover, and we're gonna pull the oil pan anyway for an inspection.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spin the motor upside down
Yeah.
on the stand, rotate the engine a few times, right?
Okay.
Pop the phaser, water pump, oil pump, all that stuff. Remove the cam with the head still on it, put the new cam back in. So when it's upside down and I spin it, it's gonna send all those lifters down,
Okay.
right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bust the rocker arms loose, take the push rods out. So there's no tension, there's no spring tension holding the lifters
So gravity.
against the cam. So it's gonna send those lifters down.
Okay.
They're not gonna fall out. They
No.
can't fall out
No.
because there's those plastic lifter trays
Right.
hold them in place.
And holding them in line because they
Yeah,
they get it. Yeah.
it holds them in place, and then there's the flaps, so it keeps them lined up. So, yeah, so we're gonna do our first cam swap without pulling the heads. Now, you can only do this on a 6.6 when you're talking about the Gen 5 LT because of DOD.
DOD.
Yeah. Anything else, you're gonna have to pull the heads. All right, so like we said, we picked up another 6.6 L8T. And this is another one of the GM auction tumble, called a tumble motor. So it fell out of a crate, or however this works. It's never been ran, never been started, so it's a brand new engine, but they received some cosmetic damage to the outside, and then you can see the intake is broke. So when we do the inspection, what we have to look for is plastic to make sure plastic didn't get down into the runners and down into the cylinder heads. But that's why we got that bore scope. That's why we check it all out. Like I said, this one's going to be getting a LT5 cam. So this will be a pretty cool deal, and we're gonna attempt to, like I said, put the cam in without pulling the heads
And I
because
don't
it's
think-
DOD.
The internet doesn't have anyone doing a cam swap in a 6.6 yet, so
No.
it'd be interesting.
Maybe, I mean, I don't know, they might, but
They might. I haven't seen one.
yeah. So, but, and we got new front accessories for it, because this one, you can see where that got some damage and then it's broke here. So we're just gonna get it on the stand, and that's gonna do it for us. It's been a pretty busy day. Like always, thanks everybody for watching. Subscribe, like, share, ring the notification bell. Have a good one. We'll see you on the next one.